YouTube family, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is FiloPixie. Today we'll be looking at 3 types of glues that you can use to create your 3D Perler bead projects. So whether you're starting out in this hobby or you're an avid Perler beader, I created this video to help you guys out because when I first started making 3D Perler bead creations, I didn't know what type of glue to use and I couldn't find any YouTube videos on it, so hopefully this will help you out. Just before we start, please note that these are my personal opinions. I am by no means an expert at any of these, so you might be familiar with some of these products or you've used them yourself and you may have a completely different opinion, but just please note that before you write down your comments below. Having said all of that, let's get right into the video. So these are the 3 types of glues that I use to create my 3D Perler bead projects. They are hot glue, super glue, and just recently E6000. So let's start with the hot glue. Hot glue was the first glue that I used when I started to create my 3D Perler bead creations. So all of them right now that you can see on the shelf are actually glued together using hot glue. The hot glue works by placing a glue stick thingy into the hot glue gun, which heats it up. You press a little tab and the melted glue comes out of the nozzle and you dispense this on your creation. So the pros of using hot glue is that it's fairly accessible and cheap to buy. You can buy it at any supermarket, discount, or any craft stores. I actually brought this one from my local Safeway and I think it was about $8 Australian and it came with 2 glue sticks. The glue sticks are also cheap to buy. I bought a packet of 50 hot glue sticks off eBay for $10 Australian, so that is a bargain. Hot glue heats and cools quickly, so you can glue pieces of your creation together without having to wait for the glue to settle. And because of that reason, if you, for example, make a mistake or you've glued a piece wrong with another piece, you can just wait for the cool down time, wait for it to completely dry, and try and easily peel or break pieces apart, peel the glue off, and then reapply the glue with the correct piece, which I've done multiple times with my 3D Perler bead creations, but you don't see them because I edit those bits out. The cons of using super glue is that it's not as strong as the other types of glues that I'm going to be talking about in this video, because sometimes when I've dropped my creation, and yes, one time that shelf actually broke off the wall and all the creations fell on the ground and most of them broke apart. It was a nightmare. Also, over time, the hot glue actually wears off. So as you can see here on Mickey's ear, the glue has come off a little bit on both sides there. Because of the thickness of the glue, it can often leave gaps between pieces. For example, look at Patrick's star. He looks really messy because of the glue, and also there are stringy bits all over him. So if you're impatient like me and you just want to create your 3D Perler bead projects, it can often leave a very messy finish to your creations. Now moving on to super glue. Super glue usually comes in a really small container. Don't ask me what it's made of because I have no idea, but they were not kidding when they said it was super glue because it's super sticky, super fast. So the pros of using super glue that I have found, it's very easy to apply and it also leaves a clean finish, so it won't leave strings or gaps in your Perler bead creations unlike the hot glue. Also, it's fairly accessible and cheap to buy. You can buy it at any craft, discount, or supermarket? You can buy it at any craft, supermarket, or discount store. I actually got a pack of 8 super glues for $5 at a discount store, so it is cheap to buy. Now, I haven't made a full 3D Perler bead creations, but I did try with 2 pieces of Perler beads together, and it was pretty difficult to pull them apart, unlike the hot glue. The biggest con for me when using super glue is that it leaves residue on your fingers unless you're using gloves, but who wants to use gloves? They're annoying. So I tend to use my fingers and it leaves that really weird rubbery feeling on your fingers. Also, it has a very long set time, which means if you have a lot of pieces that have a lot of layers, it's gonna take you a very long time to create that 3D Perler bead piece. Now moving on to the E6000. E6000 is an industrial strength adhesive. It says it repairs metal containers, so it's a pretty strong type of glue. Now, I didn't know that E6000 even existed until one of my Perler Bead friends told me about it, and so far it's a great alternative to using hot glue. The pros of using E6000 is that it has a thin paste, so your creation finishes neatly without strings or even thick gaps between the pieces. I found that it dries a lot quicker than super glue, and it doesn't take as long for the glue to settle either. When Mickey's tail broke, I applied a dab of E6000 and held it for about a couple of minutes, and then it set on its own. If I was using super glue, I would have been holding that tail for a very long time. Another positive is that you don't need to apply a lot of glue for your creations to stick. Unlike using the hot glue, I actually found that I was going through glue sticks very quickly, especially when my creations broke, and also the thick paste that it leaves, that requires a lot of glue too. Also, if you get it on your fingers, you can easily rub it off, unlike the super glue, but you shouldn't get it on your fingers anyway because it's quite toxic and hazardous, and that goes for super glue too. The biggest con that I have using the E6000 is that it is actually quite expensive, especially if you have to import it like me, because I cannot find it in any hardware stores or craft stores here in Australia. This tube that I'm using here is 110 mils, and it is one of the larger tubes that you can get. I actually bought it from eBay and it was $17, but it came with free postage. So of all the adhesives, which one is my favorite? Currently it's the E6000 because it's stronger than hot glue, dries quicker than... That was my dog. It dries quicker than super glue, and it leaves a clean and neat finish when I'm creating my 3D Perler Bead projects. But if you don't have access to E6000 or you have to import it, hot glue does the job perfectly. It's a lot cheaper and it's pretty accessible. You can buy it at any craft store. So that was my review on these types of glues. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out my other Perler Bead videos for more tips. And if you like pixels and playing games, I play a lot of games here too. That's it for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Today we'll be looking at 3 types of glue that you can use to use, that's not right. Just before we start, please note that these are all